beautiful lovelies. Hello, it's Emmy. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be making TANGHULU. And TANGHULU comes from China, and it is a dessert that you can find from street vendors. And it's typically made with ha or hawthorn fruit that look like little red crab apples that are skewered and dipped into a sugar syrup that hardens and sets and it looks like resin. It's clear, it's gorgeous. And then when you eat it, it has this great big crunchy crackle of sugary sweetness, and it sounds fantastic. So hawthorn fruit or haw is not really common here in the US. Actually, I've never seen it before, but I've seen alternate versions with fresh strawberries. And now we're really coming into fresh strawberry season here. My sons and I just went and picked them the other day, so I have a basket of beautiful strawberries, and I'm going to make a version using these. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my sugar syrup going. It does take a while for the sugar to get to the right temperature, and get myself a saucepan and a thermometer. Now, I have a spotty relationship when it comes to making sugar syrups. If you want to see me fail a few times, you can check out the dragon's beard video, put the links there. So we're going to need 1 cup of granulated sugar, half cup, 1 cup. To that, we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of water. So what we're going to do here is bring this up to a boil and evaporate a lot of the water. We're going to bring this all the way up to the hardball stage, about 260, 265 degrees. Then we'll kill the heat and then coat our fruit. So it's important that your thermometer remains submerged. So I'm going to double this recipe, and I'm adding 2 cups of sugar and 1 1/3 cups of water. So while my syrup is boiling, I'm going to prepare the fruit. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Hamana. I mean, really, y'all are beautiful. I'm just gonna take off the little stem here. So in Japan, when you buy strawberries, they come in little flats, just little boxes, and they're arranged like this with the little butts pointing upwards. They're just so cute and irresistible. Next, we're gonna skewer the strawberries. I've got a variety of sizes here. My pot is pretty small, so I think I'm going to opt to go for shorter skewers. I think traditionally they use long skewers and they display them that way on the carts, but they're also using large pans of syrup where they can just drip it on top of the fruit. But I'll try both and see what happens. This is actually just a coffee stir, and I use scissors to make a little point on there. And I like the idea of using a flat because then the strawberry won't rotate as I'm pouring syrup on there. Cute. So this size skewer, I can have 5. I think I'm just going to stick with these 2 sizes because I like that. Although I'm tempted to make a big one too. And we're almost there. We're at the hardball stage. We're at 263 degrees. So the next step is to take our strawberries and we're going to pour the syrup on top and then set them aside on a tray that has been covered with some parchment paper. I'm going to step on the step stool because I'm a little vertically challenged. Okay, use the spoon and just ladle the syrup all over the fruit. I want to cover the strawberries completely. What is it about a clear finish that is just so sexy? I don't know. It's like all those resin tutorials. It's just because it's clear, you know? All right, let's try a longer one. So cool. Quickly onto a tray. Okay, why is it getting not clear? Not into that. So I'm not sure what's happening here, but my syrup is now not clear. I think maybe there's some water that got into here, and so it's starting to seize. Look, it's turning into like taffy. That's not cute. All right, sugar syrup experts, what's happening here? So I'm heating it up. Maybe I should have left it cool and not increased the heat. This is totally seized. Wow. There's another sugar fail for you. Awesome. Okay, lovelies, I think I have yet again failed when it comes to making the proper temperature syrup. Now, while my first attempts look quite beautiful, glistening, gorgeous, covered in a resinous, almost plastic shell, they're not as hard as they should be. Although I do have to say it's about 100% humidity right now because we have got thunder showers going on outside. Maybe that has something to do with it. I suspect it has to do with the temperature of the syrup. And then my subsequent attempts end up looking like this. My sugar completely seized, and it's not beautiful and clear, although it is much harder. So I suspect what happened was that a little bit of moisture got into my syrup, and then it acted as catalyst and started this kind of crystal formation that happened. But sugar experts do chime in with your expertise. All right, let's go ahead and taste these. Itadakimasu. See, that's not supposed to happen. This is definitely more like a taffy. It's sticking to every crevice in my mouth, and it's supposed to have a shatteringly glassy-like texture. And there are tons of ASMR videos of people just eating tanghulu. So let's try this one, which I think will have a better texture. Here we go. As far as taste goes, they're absolutely delicious. You've got a juicy, juicy strawberry in the middle that's a little bit warm from the hot syrup. Then you've got it covered in sugar. I mean, it's fantastic. Oh, look, it doesn't even come off the dish. All right, as you might expect, I am not giving up on this sugar and strawberry nonsense. I'm back to do this again with a different recipe and a slightly different setup. As you can see, hairs and pigtails, so that means it is very humid outside, but I've closed all the windows, I've got the AC on, so that might help. I am also back with a new recipe. Thank you guys so much for chiming in on social media to tell me that SAS ASMR has a recipe that works. So that's what I'm doing today. This recipe includes a little bit of corn syrup, and I have to cook this up to a higher temperature, which I think is the major fault of my last experiment. I cooked it to 265 degrees, which is the hard ball stage, and I should have cooked it to a hard crack stage. I was following the recipe directions, but they didn't work for me. Into a lovely pot we've got here 2 cups of sugar. Doink. 1/3 of a cup of corn syrup. That's new. And in her video, she uses a dry measuring cup for liquid ingredients. So I'm just gonna do exactly what she did because I want this to work. What is it with me and like hot sugar? It just doesn't work. Like dragon's beard, anyone? Not perturbed, not perturbed, happy. Okay, 1/4 cup of water, which is significantly less than the other recipe. Okay, all right, crank this up. Let's get her going. And we'll stick the thermometer in there. And that will be our indicator of doneness. Do, 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 do. Another thing I learned in her video was that she skewered just a few strawberries rather than having the beautiful long stick of them, which the vendors have in China, which makes sense because they've got vats of this syrup, and so they have a lot of surface area to drizzle the strawberries. But since I'm working with a relatively small amount of syrup, it makes sense to just have a couple berries on the stick and then dip the berries into the syrup rather than using a spoon to drizzle it. Less chance of contamination. Last time when I did this, my syrup started to seize, as in it turned into crystals and it was definitely not a syrup anymore. I'm hoping to avoid that too by doing the kind of dip and twirl technique. Let us see. Don't we love failure? Failure is great, actually. We should fail more often. I keep telling myself because this is how we learn. Certainly, I have learned a lot about candy syrups, and I've learned that you must get it to the correct temperature. Now, if you don't get it to the correct temperature, then it's not going to do what you want it to do. Right? Right. I refer you to the dragon's beard video because that is full of, candy syrup follies. But it's good. It really is good. And I'm trying to be aware of that as a mother as well, to let my children fail, and that is the best teacher, surely. So there's the syrup. It is pretty cold. It's at 120 degrees almost, and it's just starting to bubble. And we're just gonna let this go for about 15 minutes. Holy smokies, it's already at 220. Okay, so I think the corn syrup must accelerate something here, because when I make fondant for my bees, which is the winter candy oh, I keep bees, by the way. If you guys don't know that, I'll refer you to my bee vlogs. I make fondant for them in the winter time, and it has corn syrup in it. And I noticed that it comes up to temperature a lot faster when I use corn syrup. Food scientists, do let me know what's going on here. Is it the corn syrup is already established to a certain something that it gets it to go to like holy smokes, 30 to 240? Like last time when I did this, I was trying to get it to the hardball stage and it took me forever. And this is already at almost 240 degrees. Okay, Sase Samara, I'm already liking your recipe. This is beautiful. Yes. Don't know if it'll be successful yet, but it's a good sign. That was super fast. That was about 7 minutes. It's already at hard crack. Okay, now I have to work really quickly. This time I'm going to take the strawberries and just dip them into the syrup like that. Allow it to drip. Okay, that's looking gorgeous. Set on my tray. Yes. Dip, drip. Yes. These are looking fab. Now they just got to get crunchy. Okay. That's actually a lot easier than spooning it too. Last one. Oh yes. Ah! So far it is looking beautiful. I'm so excited. And that happened so fast. In 7 minutes, when I had this on medium high, it came to temperature. Sass, you're a genius. Thank you guys so much for suggesting her recipe. Look at this. So out of failure comes success, and it makes the success all the sweeter. Yes, I'm so excited about this. These are perfect and beautiful, and they're crunchy, as I can tell already. They're gorgeously clear. I didn't have any seizing. The temperature came up very, very quickly, in less than half the time that Sassy said. So beautiful. Look at that. It's like they've been dipped in resin. All right, here we go. Itadakimasu. Delicious. Delightful. So much better than my first batch. The first batch was chewy, and the strawberry was juicy and delicious as well because these are fresh and ripe strawberries. But the textural sensation that goes on here is so much fun. The strawberry is slightly warm because the syrup was so hot and just so juicy. And then you've got the sugar coating on the outside that is just glass-shatteringly crisp. So that contrast between textures is so surprising and delightful. And then of course you've got the delicious flavor of strawberry and then just sugar. I mean, so much fun. What a great dessert. All right, I'm gonna eat this last one before. All right. Really, really great. Super fun. Alrighty, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something here on my beautiful TANGHULU. I'm so excited about this. This is actually very easy when you have the right recipe and the right technique. If you make these, please share your results with me on social media. I want to see your lovely sugar-coated strawberries. And yeah, share this video with your friends. It really helps me out. Follow me on social media so you can see my follies and foibles. Sub if you're not subbed already, and I shall see you in my next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye!